both of my balls had been the size of lemons and I was not underage, maybe I would have. But with one ball being the size of a lemon and one being the size of a ball, it was an issue.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable podcast.
I was going to imagine you went to the doctor and you'd be like, hey, I actually don't want this fixed. Can you just do the same thing to the other one? So there's symmetrical.
You slice up that fluid membrane on the left side.
It's all about proportions. Though, welcome to Roundtable. How you doing? We're trying to bring you in. We're trying to bring you in on the cold feet, hoping that as time goes on, things will warm up and you'll become a little bit more comfortable here in our little hearth that we've
probably
developed.
not though.
Yeah.
I think he just gave us a wink, by the way, in that Bear. I think he just winked a little when you said we're going to warm up.
Sometimes I wink involuntarily. There's nothing I can do to stop it.
No, it just made sense contextually.
Yeah. Subtleties and nuance just are deserved of, a little bit of a twitch. It's more like a twitch here, but
yeah, your head is getting involved. You okay?
this is how everybody winks, isn't it? There you go.
A little convulsion for a wink.
It looks like a medical symptom that would have some kind of name that is like doctor's name plus sign.
Yeah, they're so selfish about that.
That's like the Wernicke sign right there, is when you wink, your head turns 45 degrees to the left.
You got to bring me into this.
Turns out you're a little bitch. You got a little bitchitis.
Yeah.
Bitchitis.
Wernicke sign, classic sign.
I would really impose like drastic changes on my lifestyle if a doctor told me I've got little bitchitis and it was something that could easily be remedied by, like being healthier and more active.
Nah, man, you get fixed by just getting picked on all your life.
That's
my
true.
doctor told me like I was a 65-year-old man to start walking like 30 minutes a day. And I was like, you can, don't sugarcoat it. Like, am I going to die next year? Because that's the kind of advice you give to like an 80-year-old. It's like, well, you should make sure you walk occasionally.
She called you a 65-year-old man?
No, she was just like, well, she's like, you should do like some exercise. And I was like, well, I can run. And she's like, maybe just even like walking. It's like a slap in the face.
Yourself
don't
too
overdo
hard.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we wouldn't want you to have a heart attack or anything.
It doesn't even have to be that blunt. I mean, if I were walking out of the office and he had diagnosed me, but then like under his breath as I was leaving, he said, "Punk ass bitch." Like I would obviously try to make some adjustments based on that. That would be
It's
enough.
kind of a turning cough, bitch.
Even better.
Great doctor.
Yeah, I don't think it's a doctor, honestly. I think it's my brother dressed up as a doctor going to the office.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. On today's Talk It. That's a better name
it's
for
a talking docket. So
Yeah, a Talk It. Why don't we ever call it that? That's great.
Go nuts.
We're going with No Man's Sky again. We've got more goodies to discuss. We've got 18 minutes of gameplay courtesy of IGN's first look that we're going to dissect. And we have, I think, pretty varied opinions on that game. And it is the talk of the town at the moment. So we are going to give it a little bit more of a spotlight. Also, Ubisoft chief, I'm going to butcher this name again. It's Guillermo, I know is his last name.
It's Guillaume.
Guillaume?
Yes.
You would
Guillaume.
know. This is a French name, isn't it?
Guillaume. It's
Yves,
Guillaume.
Yves Guillaume.
You called him Guillermo.
Yeah.
Guillermo del
I'm thinking,
Toro?
yeah, it's Guillermo del Toro, the chief editor of Ubisoft magazine.
Well, Guillaume is the French version of Guillermo. It all
Oh.
comes from the Latin Guillaumeactus.
That's a dinosaur.
Yes.
Where would we be without this guy?
Guillaumeactus rex.
Who knows this stuff?
Guillemot.
Guillaume!
Guillaume. God, I can't do it.
Guillaume, man.
Guillaume talks about how Ubisoft has set the expectations too high with Watch Dogs, and they learned from that. So we want to talk about a little bit more about that entire topic.
So, okay. You've led me down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. Guillaume is the French equivalent of William.
Oh,
Interesting.
Now Bear's going to call him William.
what is Eve?
Like, Yves is Y-V-E-S?
Y-V-E-S,
Oh, that's
yeah.
Yves, yeah.
Yves
Yves.
Guillaume.
It's a common French male given name that is derived from the Indo-European root Iwa, which gave Uvos in Gaulish.
What is happening right now?
All of these mean you, like Y-E-U.
Oh, welcome to the Multilingual Vocabulary Podcast.
Oh, I'm not done yet. Related names include Erwin, Yvette, Eves, Yvette, Avita, Yvette.
Minecraft Story Mode is coming around. Telltale Games coming around with that, with Patton Oswalt at the helm
Yes.
as the main character, which is quite interesting. Although, if any game franchise, and I use that term kind of loosely, has the money for it, it's probably Mojang Minecraft. We're going to talk about that a little bit, along with her story out on Steam right now, as well as Rocket League, which is going to occupy the entire second half of our show today.
That
Sure as fuck will.
Konami has Kiefer Sutherland doing Solid Snake, and yet you chose to go with the Patton Oswalt makes so much money a game company couldn't afford him.
Patton Oswalt is the nerd's king, man.
It's true. Have you seen the filibuster he did on Parks and Recreation?
Oh my god, yeah, that was terrific.
Like the 8 minutes where he argues what the prequels should be like, combining Marvel Universe with Star Wars Universe.
I know now that Parks and Recreation in the first season started out with the main girl filibustering her own meeting. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, Rocket League is our entire lives at this point, and there's now 3,000 people playing it, which makes me quite happy.
It's the top seller on Steam right now.
So that is
I mean, we
Welcome.
couldn't be too upset because I mean it wasn't fully out when we were playing it the other night.
right.
Whatever, man. We were king shit.
Yeah, we were rocking it.
King shit.
King shit. They call this king shit. It's like in Dota how you can change all your names to match, like to make it all thematic. We were king and then shit, and then the last guy was just like the emote for poop.
Oh, dude, I bought that.
You did? Oh man,
I bought Rebirth Poop emoticon. It cost me like $1.60.
I remember that actually.
I bought when the market was high.
That was a valid purchase. I
It's a
am
terrible mistake.
completely okay with that. No Man's Sky has released 18 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay courtesy of IGN.com. They've got all the footage up, and we've all perused it to our pleasure. And I'll go first. I'm optimistic still. I think No Man's Sky is definitely its own beast. I don't think we've got some comparisons we can make to it, but I think it's trying to reach a new ground as far as providing a level of freedom and lack of guidance that hasn't really had a lot of
I wholeheartedly
competition.
disagree.
Okay.
Because in the 90s, these games were a dime a dozen. You
True,
could get
right?
you could get these space trading, exploration, mining games in an open galaxy. You can still get them. The X series, they're still around. They're not popular anymore, and they're now just coming back. I think Elite Dangerous does exactly what No Man's Sky does, and with the exception of Planet Landing, which, to be honest, No Man's Sky,
Is that a big
Planet
enough
Landing,
difference?
What?
That the fact that there's such seamless transitions between the
It would be
on the
amazing
game.
if you could do something on the planet. But you can
So that's
look
the
at
debate
it and
we're
you
having
can like
then.
make a hole in the planet and then leave.
Well, shouldn't we kind of go over what was done in this video?
Sure,
'Cause
yeah, let's do that.
I think that's kind of important. So they introduced it with this moment of walking around on this one planet. It had some red crystals around. There was like this goat thing that started chasing him, and then eventually decided to shoot it. And they introduced there was a wanted level system, so very much like Grand Theft Auto. You shoot enough things, these sentinels come and start shooting at you with lasers. And then you can decide whether you want to shoot them, and then more will come, and eventually they'll just overtake you. And apparently that's this universe's system of justice. So eventually they got him, he respawns, and then he starts walking around, and he shows you that you can shoot a hole in a rock, you can upgrade weapons, you can upgrade your ship, and there's like infinitely procedurally generated ships and weapons, which, could be cool of its own right. And then ultimately it culminates with him going up into space for a minute, showing off a little bit about space trading and combat. Then he lands on another planet, and you kind of just look out onto this, wormy pattern going on of weird landmass. And I kind of got the impression that it didn't matter at all whether you were at point X or point Y. You were going to see roughly the same things with some degree of randomization. So it made me wonder, why do you need an entire planet that takes weeks to traverse if there's going to be no functional difference where you are on it?
So we have to figure out, I think, where No Man's Sky is trying to stand as far as the gamescape is concerned. Are they trying to go in the same category as something like Dear Esther and Proteus, or are they trying to get into the Minecraft and Terraria category of, we gave you all these play spaces and tools, now it's up to you to make your own fun with it?
Sounds similar to like Starbound,
alternatively, it's going in like a direction of, we want to be like a fucking kick-ass killer AAA game with all this big exploration. And
I think
stuff.
they're going jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying gameplay wise it's like Starbound, but the planet generation wise, I feel like it's gonna have Starbound syndrome, where you're like, well, this is a slightly different colored with slightly differently randomized alien creatures wandering on the planet, and it has a different color sky, but ultimately it's functionally not that different than the planet I was just on.
To be fair, though, geometrically, the two they showed were pretty diverse. Like, the one had wormy patterns, the other one had more ground-like patterns with water. But I don't know to what degree those will change, and they did mention there's poisonous planets and things you have to upgrade your ship to be able to explore.
With them all being procedurally generated, too, I don't think we have too much of a concern of this is all just the same with different skins, so long as they introduce enough elements of randomization to make it unique every time.
I'm surprised to hear, Nick in particular, as I'm watching the footage here, that you're not into this with how much Terraria you're playing right now.
Well, I'm into it, but I also see how this could go wrong really easily. And I'm still excited to try it, and I hope I'm wrong. It's just from what they showed, it looks like it won't matter where you are on the planet, so what's the difference, right? It's just going to have the same groups of life most likely all around. Are there going to be biomes on the planet? Because they should have talked about that if there were. They didn't show any of that.
One of the things I say they have been doing a poor job of is kind of explaining the more intricate mechanics of the game over the past 6 months. As the game gets closer and closer to whatever the release date is, people are going to want to know, okay, how exactly does this game play? Because we have ideas, and this, granted, 18 minutes of footage is good, but there's still a lot of questions that are up in the air, like how does, like Nick said, the planets, how exactly are they working? Are they all one just kind of biome? There are multiple biomes on each planet. My guess would be each planet is going to be one biome.
Do we know this, though? Like,
no, we don't. I said it's my guess. I said it's my guess.
I cannot abide unhinged cynicism without a base for it here. Like, I understand, like, if each planet is only one biome, that does... I damper it a little bit, even if there are, like, 1,000 biomes in the game and you have to go to different planets in order to get them. But, I don't know. This sounds like speculation to me. The footage is... It does look like it has Starbound syndrome to me. And I'm not into these kind of sandbox games for the most part, but I don't know. It looks pretty cool to me.
Well, the main mechanic they talked about was that there's discoveries. So you'll walk around on these planets. You've got to find a new thing no one's ever seen before and scan it, and then you can name it, and you get a currency from that, which you use to upgrade your ship and weapons. So essentially, they're forcing you to go out and explore those millions of stars to find some sort of path for yourself. I can see, though, if you kind of get into a cluster where a lot of people have been, wouldn't that be really frustrating if everything you scan has already been discovered and then you won't make any progress?
Well, that's the idea then behind, the fact that they're trying to convince everyone that there are just millions upon billions of stars, galaxies, planets for you to explore, that you'll never really run into that problem. And then I guess just the core of the gameplay is putting you in the role of this interstellar archaeologist slash astronomer who is really just trying to do his best for the, X nation out in the galaxy to try to identify as many things as you can, which doesn't inherently seem like a very interesting premise unless you're very much into that idea of, I want to go out there and just explore all this new stuff that doesn't actually exist. Which, I mean, I don't want to phrase it like that, actually, because that just kind of diminishes the idea of gaming as a whole in one stupid sentence. But I think, it kind of holds water of, unless I'm really just kind of interested in that perspective, I don't find a lot of draw to this from a gamey standpoint of what draws me into it that makes me feel like, oh, I'm making progress, or I'm hitting checkpoints, or I'm establishing myself as a character in this new universe.
Yeah. I got the impression they were aware that people were going to get that impression, and they tried to play up the, like, oh, look, there's guns, and there's combat, and you go in space and shoot other people. And I wonder, though, if that's kind of also diminishing the point of the game to put too much of an emphasis on the gamification elements, if what they're really after is the exploration. Because they just want to get new eyes on it and try and get in front of the right market. And that's kind of what they got after in that footage, I thought. What do you think?
I think
positioning okay.
I think they want to be where they are. I think for the most part, like they're kind of in line with their expectations of things. I don't even know if honestly they want to be riding this massive wave of momentum, because it might end up derailing, much in the same way as the next topic actually we're going to be talking about, conveniently enough, how Ubisoft kind of well, I mean, this is of their own accord that they fucking pushed the envelope so far with what they were doing, but with No Man's Sky, they can't have possibly expected that things would be so completely like unadulterated hype for this game.
I don't know. I mean, their first reveal in E3 was like this grandiose thing. The way they presented it was like this thing that had never been done before, and people like minds were blown. I kind of feel like that was their hope, at least initially.
But isn't everyone doing that to a degree?
That's E3.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's what I'm saying. You can't say they didn't. You can't say they didn't expect it when that was their goal.
Well, everyone's trying to get it, but no one's thinking like we're banking on this.
This is why I oftentimes get frustrated with like the hype cycle in games.
Agreed.
Is because people take it as like unabashed honesty when it's meant to be like nobody trusts movie trailers anymore, but people trust like game reveals and announcements and stuff like that. And then this is the period of like inevitable blowback where people are like, this is not going to necessarily be like a transformative piece of media, and people are mad about it. And I'm like, well, it's a trade show. Like they are talking to consumers, but they're talking to consumers so they can talk to shareholders as well. And
so it shouldn't fall on us. I mean, agreed. It should fall on us, the consumer, to a point. But
100%.
The developer also.
It's not out yet.
No, but the developer should not also be not expecting the hype when their goal is to get the hype. If their goal is to get the hype, they should expect the hype.
I think an indie developer is an outlier there. I think every AAA publisher and developer is gunning for that marketing machine, and you walk away. You don't want to hear
I can hear you. I'm just turning the light on.
Do you think the fact that they courted big media to that degree and they went to the trade show, would that be a trade-off in goodwill that maybe, knowing this blowback seems to happen with pretty much everything, is that really a good idea?
I don't even associate it with like a goodwill argument. I think it's like they got what they wanted. I guess if you were looking at it from the perspective of they wanted this from the get-go of a giant hype machine surrounding them, and now when they're in that position, they are approached by PlayStation, and PlayStation says we want to showcase No Man's Sky as part of the Sony lineup at E3. Like obviously, like fuck yeah, obviously we're gonna do that. That's amazing.
It's not out yet. It could live up to the level of hype, or it could be shit. But I'm not gonna go like through a laborious like post-mortem of what they've done wrong in their marketing when the game doesn't even have a release date yet. It just seems like kind of a lot of hand-wringing over something where we don't know how it works out yet.
I guess I'm just seeing the parallel mostly with Watch Dogs. I'm not really putting that on them as much.
The way I see it is you kind of have two options. You swing for the fences, and then inevitably people are going to be angry if you only hit like a triple, or you don't let anybody know about your game, and then when it comes out, you sell like 1/10 the copies that you could have sold if you'd swung for the fences.
Yeah.
But to give credit to Hello Games, they say they actually gave an interview. They gave an interview at E3 that got posted on Rock Paper Shotgun today, and part of it is about like fighting back against the hype. So reading interviews, this is going to be like a minute here. Reading interviews Sean Murray has done recently, it has felt as if he's wanted to push back against the hype, or at least say, this is the reality of procedural generation and you're not always going to find something amazing. Has that been difficult, I ask, because a lot of trailers are to do with evoking that sense of wonder. Murray responds that he doesn't actually think that's true of many of the trailers, but it's something Hello Games have discussed when creating their own. We had big discussions about our VGX trailer. You walk along the beach, you fly into space. Describing that on paper sounds like nothing, but there's something about the world and the worlds that make it seem a bit more real and blah, blah, blah. Generally, people, when we made a trailer, wanted us to make a lot of shorter clips with a lot of action shots, shooting things, slates you put in between that say things like forge alliances, explore the universe, blah, blah, blah. So, the way he phrases it there, maybe he's just really good at giving a skilled interview, but it seems like I could definitely imagine that like alternate No Man's Sky trailer where he's like, fight alien races, slate comes up, and then he shoots something, and then it's like, trade, and then I could see how that would be a lot more exciting to show some kind of like in vivo gameplay. Actually seems a little bit more honestly.
They're on a pedestal now, which is inescapable for them. So I think they are... All right, maybe I'm just building my own persona of what the developer is really trying to do here. But from what I've seen, they're doing what he's saying, which is they're trying to tell people the truth about what the game is. I mean, like this alone, the fact that they're doing 18 minutes of just straight up, okay, this is literally us playing the game in its current state. This is what you should expect. instead of that exact like cut through trailer of all just the happy, fun, explodey parts. They're going for the message of this is literally it. If you like this, you'll like this game. If you like what you see right now, you're going to enjoy what we have. But if you don't, you should reconsider it because this is it.
I'm finding it kind of interesting, the idea that, in essence, they've created this thing, they've been honest about it, and then it seems like they get caught into this machine that tries to make it into a thing to sell it and sell it and sell it based on a concept that is held by only the people trying to sell it and not anyone that's actually behind the making of it.
Yeah.
So they're kind of trapped in this position where they can't do anything but just ride along, which is kind of frustrating, I guess.
Well, that's
You
what
know
I'm saying, is they might be trying to fight that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want people to think like, oh, we're going to go out in space and be Marines and shoot random creatures on millions of planets across the universe.
But everyone wants to misrepresent this thing because they know it has this potential to be easily misrepresented.
Yeah, this could be that game, but it's not. And that's like the issue at hand with their promotion of it, I guess.
And that's why I thought the marketing angle was such an interesting one, because there's so much going on here that's like, it's beyond the control of anyone in persona or group.
No one knows what No Man's Sky is going to be anymore. There's no control. No, it is.
I've never been incredibly hyped for the game because it just comes, and it's not a bad thing. I'll end up playing it. It'll probably be fun, but it just comes off across as an indie Elite Dangerous, which is something I've been playing for like a year now.
Isn't Elite Dangerous indie?
Braben, he's been around since the '86.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
he's kind. It's kind of.
I don't know what indie means anymore either. It's all.
But I don't know. Maybe admittedly haven't played Elite Dangerous, but my perception of it is that it's a space trading game. No Man's Sky to me seems like it's more of a like almost survival sandbox game with trading as one element of it.
It's a more sandbox you can be, and explore these numerous 400 billion in Elite Dangerous, 400 billion procedurally generated star systems where you get currency and experience for being the first one to discover something, and your name gets attached to the system if you're the first one to discover it. There's bounty hunting. There's combat. There's
every time I've seen someone play Elite Dangerous, they're inside of a ship.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
It's a player-centric
Planet
issue
Landing
in-
is an expansion pack coming out in the future.
Okay.
For right now, it is just space.
Man, you're just giving No Man's Sky like the competition trailer. You're giving them all the sound bites right now. Like 400 billion stars in Elite Dangerous. Try 400 trillion stars in No Man's Sky.
I mean, the idea of landing on planets for me is the most compelling element, so just being in a ship and being in space for me is what makes me not interested in Elite Dangerous, honestly.
I'm
The
the other
trading
way. I think
isn't what I'm up for anyway.
I like a galaxy that kind of is like alive with like players and stuff, and having like that player control over a universe. And No Man's Sky seems the opposite, where players is going to be more like a journey thing, where you might run across a player, maybe.
That's what I was also speculating about, the possibility of No Man's Sky having that journey-style multiplayer where somebody just kind of seamlessly drops into whatever you're doing and you don't even really notice them if you don't want to.
I think
That'd
that's
be
what they're going
interesting.
for, right?
I think so. I think that's what I've heard.
But the
You guys might
space
be
combat
interested.
says to me there's people you can actively engage regularly.
This is what Big Banger B says about
Big Banger B.
about Elite Dangerous.
Trusted source.
He gave it a 0 out of 10.
Oh.
So
Oh,
I
shit.
don't think he's a big fan, despite being a
Big
big
B with a
banger.
little P.
The game looks good. Ships fly good. Yup. That's about it for the positives. The rest of the game is designed purely for people with 0 lives and
Whoa.
all the time
Shit.
in the world to throw at it. I don't get why people do it, though, because you certainly are not rewarded with anything. There you go. That's the synopsis.
That was detailed. That was detailed.
Damn, dude. Well, I guess
You want-
that ends our discussion on it. Shit.
You want danger? The most dangerous thing in Elite Dangerous is the start menu. Why? Because you have to go in and out of the start menu 1 or 2 dozen times before you can get placed in an instance
That's
with
24
decent
times.
ship spawning. This
What
is
if-
actually like a 9-paragraph user review on Metacritic.
I really
hilarious.
kind of want to develop a segment of Ryan Reed's shitty Steam reviews.
Yeah.
It's
Dude knows
amazing
what
to
he's
me.
talking about.
Why would you
Yeah.
write like an 8-paragraph review and just give it a 0?
He's
Like,
trying to
I'm-
get a job at IGN, dude. That's the
Yeah, but
that's
no
the
nuance
first
at
step.
all. Oh man.
He's
Yeah,
trying to inform
learning.
the public so they don't make the same mistake he did. He just cares about you.
At least give it a 2, and then I'll be like, oh, at least this guy gave it some thought.
At least to give it some points, so I can add that to my points chart for all the games that I
Exactly.
read reviews for. No Man's Sky is not yet announced for a release date, but I'm sure we'll talk about it plenty more in the future. Ubisoft chief, if you hear me, we learned from the mistakes we made.
Yves Guillaume.
Yves Guillaume.
God damn it.
I'm an ignorant slut.
Like, it's like his name is Yvetta Williams. It's not a big deal.
If his name was Yvetta Williams, I could read it.
Oh, wait. It's not Guillaume. It's Guillermo.
That's what I was saying.
Well, I don't know. You were saying Guillermo.
Guillermo.
I was saying Guillermo.
Well, okay,
I was saying Guillermo. It's Guillermo. It's Guillermo.
All right, what did you say?
Guillermos are
my
the common
God.
name for several
We can't do this, man.
of seabird in the auk family.
Okay, so Ubisoft is run by a seabird. They're admitting
several species of seabirds.
they raised expectations too high with their 2012 release of Watch Dogs. That was 2012? Are you serious?
2012 demo.
Demo. Okay, God, yeah, that totally fucking threw me for a loop. Yeah, so the demonstration at E3 of Watch Dogs, if you all fondly remember it, which I do actually, I have very fond memories of the Watch Dogs trailer. Well, it's actually a little bit of gameplay too, but of course, very spiced up, prettied up for the big stage, which of course we were touching on back with the No Man's Sky discussion. But they're starting to realize that they may not be making the best decision in building up these amazing, incredibly designed and great looking trailers for the game that don't necessarily represent the quality of the final product. So Guillermo says it's a real challenge to create these type of games when they come out, especially the first iterations. They are not perfect on everything. We think we launched a good quality game for a first step in a new brand with a new technology. It's just so complex, seamless multiplayer connectivity with mobile and tablets, so many things. It was maybe a bit too much for a first iteration. So clearly then what they're describing is the process of we have what we know can be a big seller for us in the form of this game, but we have so many other ambitions for it that we know we're going to have to make some cuts at the end of the day to put it out and make it go gold. So we try to build the hype, just like we were saying, and show it in its best possible form without the bells and whistles. And then, of course, cuts have to be made closer to release. So the discussion point here being, is there precedent to maintain the attitude and I guess approach to trade shows and other trailers and just hype machine marketing stuff of the optimal condition, aka Star Wars Battlefront at this year's E3, which is absolutely not going to look the way it does. Again, we'll remind you of that every show until the game comes out. Or do the publishers and developers have a better stand for, or have a better position for making things look more like they will upon the actual release of the game to maybe build better goodwill?
Are you trying to tell me Star Wars Battlefront is not going to look that good?
I'm thinking...
Because
I'm thinking it might not have
I've
full
already
motion video
pre-ordered
installed.
4 copies, one for each system, and at least a collector's edition.
I got the Pip-Boy edition.
I need it. It looks so good.
It comes with a full-size AT-AT.
Yep. And well, if you get the collectors on the Xbox One, it comes with the AT-ST.
Oh shit!
You gotta
dude.
hire a team of 60 people in a crane to put it together.
Whatever, man. I paid $150 for it. They better do it.
How much can a team of 60 people cost?
Right.
I can't believe you guys didn't get the C-3PO bidet edition for the PS4.
Shit.
It's really fancy. Oh. They ship it early. I don't even have the game yet, but I got the bidet, and oh, it's nice.
My philosophy is complicated here because I hate everything. And
right, yeah.
Basically, I place a ton of blame on consumers for constantly believing this stuff, even though Watch Dogs is not the first example of this happening. But at what point can you feel good about saying, like, hey, I blame the people that are constantly believing lies instead of the people that are lying? And then I think, oh, but it's not really lying. Like, if you make your own dedicated vertical slice for a game, you're basically just representing it in the best light possible, an optimal light that may be unrealistic. It's like, I think everyone is acting with relatively good intentions, but I mean, there's never going to be like a governing body that is like, don't don't do vertical slices. Like, only show gameplay that you actually have created and is running on like a target machine. So I think the onus does come down to consumers to be like, I like, don't believe anything you see at E3. That doesn't mean like you can't be optimistic and be like, oh, this looks cool, this looks like it's gonna be fun, but like,
you'll never please consumers, because at the same time during E3, during the Fallout 4 press conference, everybody's like, the game looks like shit. The graphics
exactly
are bad. I'm like, oh god.
But then no one can say they're lying, right?
True. Yeah, hopefully.
I mean,
I like to
everyone's just
believe
acting in the best interest of capitalism for themselves, I think, is what we're going on. Like, the fact that they have to go through this length to make this vertical slice, they're just trying to represent the game they think that they can make, and then they come up short. I think that's all you're saying, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think they anticipate coming up short, though.
I agree
think
with
this
that.
is a wholly plan that they know that the game's not going to look this good.
It's like if you made like an online dating profile or something like that. Like, the pictures you get to put up 3 pictures from like the last 5 years is not going to be your candid shots, right, of what you actually look like. It's going to be like
3
you
dick
dressed
pics.
up for a wedding, and then like you on a hike that you went on once 2 years ago, and the
All right.
sun caught you at the right angle.
I'm on Bear's side though, because at this point in 2012, when the demo came out, they knew the specs of the next gen console. They had been working with them forever. There's no way in fuck they thought they might be able to pull that off with an open world. The way it looked.
I honestly don't know. Like, I've read the interview. He raises some good points, which is, we're developing it in advance of knowing for sure what the architecture is going to be able to handle on the new consoles. And, it seems like what he's basically saying is that we developed it on high-end PCs, so we kind of just, like, threw that out there as what the visual standard would be.
high-end PCs.
That's
They
true,
locked
and
those away.
I think I always forget that that's kind of one of the issues that conflates it, is that people wouldn't be so mad about the Watch Dogs thing if it actually had the option to look like that on machines that could handle it.
Right.
And also, they actively locked away features that were there in the system INI that you could just enable, so it would look closer to parity with console, and I thought that was pretty shitty.
That was a much sillier part of it, actually. Now that you bring that up and remind me of it, that actually makes me realize the Watch Dogs is probably the most egregious offender as far as, trying to fluff it up and then delivering a very flat object. Also, I want to mention that I have one photo that I use anytime anybody asks me for a picture, and that's of me with a thong on eating a hot dog on a pier.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never requested it. So
Why is that not your
to see.
Skype picture? I want to know.
Make that your thumbnail
just
for
putting
every
that up
one
here
of these.
for all these podcasts, right? No, I think Watch Dogs had a pretty blatant showing of, well, it could look that good, but we don't have to make it look that good. It's almost the argument similar to the way Apple kind of progressively releases new technology with every iteration of the iPhone. And now, other phone companies are starting to be just about as guilty of this. But I've heard tell that Apple is really already pretty far along in their development of things like, very, very future tech stuff. Obviously, I'm not very well versed in phone technology descriptions, but they've got shit that they're holding back because they have to have a marketing plan for 5-10 years down the road. They're not like working on the fly of, okay, how do we make the next best phone and get that ready for CES next year. They're
Planned
already
obsolescence.
projecting to CES 2017. Like, they've got that shit in the bag, and they are just, developing for 5 years down the road at this stage of the game. So there's the possibility, I don't think it's very likely, but I think there's the possibility that we can develop games that look like Watch Dogs 2012 version. It's just that reduces the longevity of both consoles and the cycle of games that can exist at the maximum thresholds and capacities of the technology we have available right now to make them.
I just don't think people would be as mad if you just gave us the version of the PC game that we wanted and just let the console version be at the rate that it was.
Yeah.
Like, whatever the hardware could handle.
No, yeah, even if that argument holds water, that's still true. It's like the fact that they had that stuff there that we could have unlocked. That was just
Put it on
ridiculous.
modders to do it. I mean, they'll do it either way, but like, just give us the thing you're trying to give us.
Especially when the modders, all they do is modify the INI files, and they're like, oh, there it is.
They just found it. It's not like they constructed anything new. They just unlocked the stuff that was already there.
View distances 2, make it 6. Done.
It's very interesting to me because I suffered from kind of the same phenomenon. I think we all felt roughly the same way about the like Sony conference, let's say, from E3 to take an example, and the PC late night kind of show that happened. There were a lot of problems with the PC show, and not all of them were related to this, but a lot of it was just developers coming on, showing gameplay, and then talking about it, and everyone was like, this is boring. Like, why did I get so excited for this? And then the Sony conference, let's be honest, most, if not all of that stuff was a vertical slice that they have set up to look impressive on the show floor, and people were like, this is amazing! And then, we're our own worst enemies, because especially at an event like E3, the reason 50,000 people are, actually like 900,000 people tune in is because they want to be wowed. And it's not even like I want a preview of stuff that's to come. It's like I want to be blown away. And then when we get we say that we want like representative stuff, but representative stuff isn't that impressive because, at least in my opinion, most games that come out, you don't go, oh, wow, this is amazing. You go, oh, this is like markedly better. Yeah. In a mildly perceptible way. Like The Witcher 3, if you just showed gameplay of The Witcher 3, at E3, I think context would change everything. And people would be like, this looks like The Witcher 2. Like, it just looks like a little bit better than The Witcher 2. So, but it's a Game of the Year candidate that everybody thinks is awesome. So
it's
I
an
think
arms race, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's got to be forced in this position where if you don't show your best and it's got to blow the doors off, then anything that's less than that will be disregarded.
That's my philosophy on it, is that, everybody else is doing it. You kind of have to do it. And I don't even think it's wrong to, every industry does it. Like, movie trailers are not indicative of what the movie is going to be like. They're not willfully misrepresentative most of the time, but they show, the best possible parts of it, or as things to get you excited, a sizzle reel, something like that.
I think it's difficult to make the comparison between game promotion and movie trailers, though. I think as a movie trailer stands, it does, its job of giving you a good idea of what the movie's going to be about without giving away too much of the content of the film itself. Whereas with a game trailer, you're not even exactly going for what is this game about and how do I play it. It's look at all this cool shit. Like this may be in it. The time will tell, but
if it meets the Kickstarter stretch goal, it might be
right. Yeah. Kickstarter stretch goal is going to be like one of those slates that pops up with the flashing text of "Make us more money and we'll put in this gun" and shit like that. But no, that's a gross exaggeration. That's not the state of the industry right now.
That's different. Come on.
But
I'm guilty of comparing a games marketing to movie marketing too much. I'll admit. I just think at some point, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on me, fool me 3 times, I won't get fooled again, right?
Yeah.
You gotta, protect yourself against this stuff. And it's so easy, just don't pre-order and...
Yeah, right.
And if possible, manage your hype levels. And then... Or don't manage your hype levels and then just recognize, oh, it's happening again. When I spend, a month eating potato chips every night, and I'm like, oh, I'm a little chubby. I know why. It's because I'm eating the potato chips. Yeah.
But then you get in a YouTube comment fight with this guy, and you don't know who he is, but he's like, man, if you don't think this is the greatest shit of all time, you're an idiot. And you're like, wait, am I missing something here?
Well, you are an idiot. I mean, that's fair.
Just by being in that comment fight, it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Unfettered, hyperbolic reactions.
I had an honest-to-God instance like that, where I decided that I wanted to get into an argument with somebody online. I think it was in a Kotaku thread or something like that. But
that's a good place to be.
Yeah, he was going off on me, and I was just trying to have a normal conversation with him, and then he decided to say something like, blah blah blah. You hold this stance. Are you insane? And then I thought about it. I replied. I just said yes. And then I just left because I realized at that moment that, yes, I am clinically insane for having participated in this discourse online.
You went and you, hugged your wife. Made a sandwich.
I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Man. Life changer.
Yeah, so I really I'm glad that they acknowledge it. I think that is making me the happiest out of everything that we just talked about, but I really don't think there's much to be done about it. I think it's like they're aware of the fact that, yes, we hear that people are disappointed in the presentation and the follow-up thereafter of a game that didn't quite meet the quality expectations you had set for us, but sorry. It's going to happen again.
Bigger than the both of us, so whether you like it or not, we got to do this dance.
That's right.
Sorry, our trailer for Watch Dogs looked amazing. We definitely, didn't live up to it. Now, come watch this Division traiailer we just created. I guarantee you, it'll
live up to it until after you buy it, and it doesn't live up.
This is a comparison to the movie industry that actually works, because people do not trust reviewers. And it blows me away. The people will literally be like, I know 1,000 people who are paid to do this said this about a game, but I don't trust it. Even though I haven't played it for myself, my opinion is right. Cool, stick to your guns. You see that in movies all the time. People be like, right, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is 1,500 movie critics. And you're saying, like, no, they're wrong, and I'm right, and here's why. And it's fine, you can disagree with them. That doesn't make you wrong, but it's just a very audacious stance to take.
I don't believe in the aggregation of popular opinion based on professional reviews. That seems absolutely outrageous to me.
Then, so the secret is, for games, you can buy into the hype, don't pre-order, wait for reviews. If the reviews give it a score, or the body of the reviews seems like you wouldn't like it, don't pick it up right away. But instead, if you get hype for a game, you see this where it comes out and it gets like a 7, and then people go, oh, only a 7? Why did you have this person review it? They have a history with RPGs, and this is not an RPG.
I've done far more research into this man's professional history than any one person ought to.
Exactly. And you're like, damn, dog, like these companies, I say this so much, these companies don't need you as an evangelist. They don't care about you at all. They
care about your money.
Exactly. They care about marketing to you, and they probably do if you had to like push it. They'd be like, yeah, we care about our customers, of course. But they don't need you out there as like unpaid PR, arguing with somebody who gets paid to play the game and is like, here's my honest opinion so that you don't waste your money or that you don't miss out on this. And then you go, well, I don't trust you because I saw the trailer and I think it's a 10 out of 10 and you gave it an 8.5. Like, just give them a little credit. You don't have to base every decision on a reviewer's purchase, but it's a great aggregate. It's like a traffic light. If it comes out and is yellow, don't go. Hit the brakes for a while.
I mean, if you're already in the intersection,
slam on the gas, bro.
In the metaphor, don't go in the intersection yet. Stop the pre-order. Stop before the white line.
And then in the four-way stop, if you both arrive at the same time, it's the person on your right-hand side that gets to go
and
first.
let them go first and then read their user review of the
intersection. There's no excuse nowadays for people, because even if the reviews, they don't trust the reviews, there's going to be so much gameplay on YouTube that you can watch and be like, is this something I'm going to enjoy?
Going back to No Man's Sky.
People There's so much psychology wrapped up into this that it's not even that you're having a rational conversation with another person. You're dealing with this pile of problems and different baggage that they have and the baggage you have and trying to see which one's more obstinate about it.
I agree that it's not fair for a company to overtly lie or even probably to present a misrepresentative vertical slice of a game. But I hate this, like, narrative of, like, well, they lied to me. And you'll be like, well, there were, like, literally, like, 80 reviews the day it came out and like a lot of gameplay trailers, and people were streaming the game and broke the embargo on Twitch so you could watch it for a long time. And you know, Steam user reviews and Metacritic user reviews were terrible, and the game leaked in advance and people had a negative opinion of it. It's like, well yeah, but you know, this is what Ubisoft said though, and you know, I'm out $60 now.
Well, to help them alleviate their concerns, let's say this: Ubisoft lied to me. Yes,
true,
absolutely, they did.
You still pre-ordered it.
Yep.
That is correct.
You got it.
And I would like to say, because I'm quickly finding myself getting painted as like the anti-consumer member of the Roundtable podcast.
Oh, well, we need you for that. Matt is a cynical asshole, and then you got the anti-consumer motto on you.
But I don't think it's anti-consumer to be like, as a consumer, you should protect yourself. Like, I'm just trying to be like, don't waste your money.
Yeah.
Just wait.
When you as the consumer have all of these tools to protect yourself,
use them or don't, but then don't be mad about it.
That's not nice to call the reviewers tools, Mathas. That's really rude.
Whatever, man.
But that's why it's irrational, because the people that get this argument already are doing that, and the people that aren't are never going to hear it. because they're wrapped up in this exchange of like, you have some commodity you're going to give me, so I expect to give you money, you give me the thing I want, and that's the exchange. That's the way that we've kind of been programmed that it works. So they just have this cognitive dissonance about that whole thing.
I think it's also like, because it's media as opposed to like a consumer product, people get offended by reviews that are bad of something that they think they'll like because they take it as like a judge of their taste.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess you just sort of have to get over that. Like when The Order came out, I watched all the trailers and stuff for it, and I was like, I followed it's only 20 minutes long discussion and stuff like that, and the reviews were like 5s and 6s. And I was like, I still might get it. Like it looks kind of fun, but I didn't say like, I don't trust these reviewers. This looks awesome. I was more like, I believe that this is probably not that good, but still my curiosity has not abated. So I'm willing to throw $60 of that to try it out, which I didn't. But.
In that same regard, there's some things that you can't necessarily ignore as just factual elements of a review, and I think the length of the game is one of those that really was just pretty easy for people to accept as, that's just, qualifiably shitty that's the case.
Recycled bosses and all that.
Right.
My favorite part of that argument is like the difference of like, it was 4 hours. No, man, it was 6 hours. Like, yeah, you're right.
And then we bring in the price of the movie ticket, and it all makes sense.
Oh yeah, there we
go. Down that road.
Well, the movie's 2 hours, and this is double the cost of a movie. Some guy comes in and is like, well, in this movie though, I only enjoyed 82% of it, so 0.82 times the $15 movie ticket is.
If you got an Excel spreadsheet to lay out the enjoyment proportions of your film and gaming experiences, you got more problems than a bad review.
All we're missing are the Steam reviewers who have like 60 hours in a game, but like it's a 0 out of 10. Fuck this game.
I told you guys. I think there was a guy that reviewed NBA 2K14 that had like 900 hours in the game. Thumbs down. No good. Can't recommend.
I will say though, I do like the dollar per hour way of measuring a game as a consumer good. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't apply to all games or all genres, obviously, but I do. There are some times where I'm like, that makes sense. If a game is like 50 hours long and it's $5, it's a really easy thing to bring up.
Yeah,
Isaac is like perfect.
Right, Isaac is a great example.
Hundreds of hours for like $15.
It's 45 minutes long and it's $15, which is just ridiculous.
Oh, you're right.
You can take it in either direction depending on how you want to look at it.
I suppose
Rocket League. It's only 5 minutes and it's $20.
Oh, that's true. One game of Rocket League.
I suppose I just have to agree with that based on the fact that I've previously recommended Spelunky based solely on the amount of hours I've put into the game. So I mean, it holds water for just the basis of the argument, I suppose.
I don't like writing it off entirely, even though I make fun of it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you can't use it for Proteus, or like Gone Home is another example where you can't be like, well, it's $20 and it's only 2 hours long. The game doesn't hold up to that kind of criticism. It's nonsense.
Mm.
The same way for Spelunky, you can't be like, oh, well, it's a deep emotional experience that taught me a lot about what it means to love.
It did.
It's another one of those cases where it's just irrational because everyone wants to paint everything into black and white and have these two ways of looking at things, and you can't. There's a lot. There's a whole gradient. Yeah, you can't be objective.
Objective game reviews was really good. Are they still around?
I think they might be. Yeah. We'll plug them. There we go.
Tired of these.
They didn't even give us $750,000, and we're plugging them. I mean, I've been meaning to change that Patreon reward tier, by the way. 750 to 750,000. That sounds a little bit better.
Makes more sense.
Yeah. We could get rid of Mathas finally.
Ah, thank fucking Christ.
Minecraft Story Mode. Woo! Telltale Games series starring Mr. Patton Oswalt, a.k.a. the Kiefer Sutherland of Telltale Games.
Are you guys talking about this kitty shit? I'm going to get some coffee.
Oh, shit.
I finally watched the movie Stand By Me. I saw the young Kiefer Sutherland in that film.
I haven't watched that.
You haven't seen Stand By Me? I thought that was like one of the films that you guys would be mad at me for not having seen.
Sorry.
There's still like Jaws and The Godfather and, name a classic film.
You watched Indiana Jones, right?
I haven't seen Indiana Jones, no.
I was joking, by the way. Minecraft is an incredible tool.
I still get the Minecraft itch, man.
Really?
Yeah, even playing Terraria, I'm like, I kind of want to play Minecraft.
You are Jesse.
Two different itches.
He and his group of friends revere the legendary Order of the Stone, 4 adventurers that slayed an ender dragon. The Order are the very best at what they do: warrior, redstone engineer, griefer, and architect.
Griefer.
There's a griefer involved in the crew, yeah. We all know what that is. That's impressive. While at EnderCon,
Don't
Jesse and his
patronize me.
friends discover that
Patronize
something is
me,
wrong.
though.
Something dreadful. Terror is unleashed, and they must set out on a journey to find the Order of the Stone if they are to save their world from oblivion. So this is just the Elder Scrolls 4, really. Minecraft...
Put some dynamite under their house is actually what happened.
Right, yeah. Minecraft is not... let me introduce listeners out there to Minecraft, if you've never heard of this one before.
Come on now.
It is not a story-based game. There is not an arcing narrative to be seen or read. It is a sandbox experience to the extreme of, here's some things, go play with them. And
But there is an ending.
there is an ending, yeah, and that's kind of, I think, what they described in the description of the story for Minecraft Story Mode. They're actually calling it Minecraft Story Mode, which I think is I guess it works.
Confusing for marketing reasons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because people are going to think it has something to do with Minecraft.
No, yeah,
beyond
this is
the
definitely,
aesthetic.
can be read into as an expansion for Minecraft the game.
That's true.
So I suppose that's why every time you say it, you have to say Minecraft Story Mode, a Telltale Games
Telltale.
series. That clarifies
So-
it.
That rolls off the tongue real well.
Yeah.
I did see when this came out, well, the trailer came out last week, there was a little bit of, like, discourse that was like, does this game show that, like, Telltale is in too many directions at once?
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
not, like, a Minecraft guy, at least not anymore, and have not been for, like, 4 years, even longer, I guess. But just looking at the art style, as I was telling you guys before the show, immediately I was kind of like, I'm more likely to play this than I am to play, like, a second season of The Wolf Among Us or anything like, or something like that. Even if it is aimed at kind of a more generalized or even younger audience, it kind of seems like a refreshing break in tone for Telltale after, like, The Walking Dead, which was super mature and gritty, and The Wolf Among Us, which is super mature and gritty, and Game of Thrones, which is super mature and gritty. Tales of Borderlands, I guess, a little less so, but I haven't played it. I kind of like that it maybe has a little bit more of a humor, like, zany kind of style to it, and also that it doesn't look like every other Telltale game has looked over the past 4 years or something. So I don't know if I'm likely to play it, but I think I'm more likely to play it than another Telltale game right now.
I saw a lot of reception about what you just said that was just like, well, that's Telltale's thing. They make mature and gritty games, so how dare they go into this category?
Which is weird, because originally, well, not originally, but 10
Sam
years
and
ago,
Max.
Sam and Max and,
Yeah.
you know, Back to the Future and stuff like that. It's really only
yeah,
been
they did
since
that for the
2012.
second-gen Telltale fans, I guess, that didn't realize. there's
Right,
more
yeah,
going on.
They did Back to the Future. Back to the Future happened after the first season of Walking Dead, didn't it?
No, it was just before.
It
They did
was?
like Jurassic, or they did Back to the Future, then Jurassic Park, which was very not well
Bad.
received,
Yeah.
and then they did Walking Dead, and they've kind of been on this ascent since then.
All right, yeah.
I also wonder if, like, we as people who are older than probably the average age of a Minecraft player, I don't think that's controversial,
No,
but
probably
we don't have like this emotion tied up into Minecraft where a lot of people who are probably disparaging it online have to deal with, like, people talking about it all day at school, and they're like, oh, like, Minecraft, that's a game that, like, I played when I was 8. Now I'm 13, and I'm too old for that shit. Whereas I'm just like, you know, Minecraft's Minecraft. Like, I don't have any kind of, like, resentment tied up into it from nostalgia or anything.
I saw
like
the
that.
trailer and I was just like you, Ryan. I was just like, you know, I this is kind of what I expected out of a Minecraft Telltale game. I expected it to be kind of more geared toward younger audiences. I was surprised that it actually didn't look as, I don't want to say bad, but like every other Telltale game with that hard-lined, cartoony art style. It looks like to me like a machinima animation or something that you would see on a YouTube channel. I was like, oh, you know, this is kind of cool looking. I might play it, maybe. I was not adverse to it at all.
Shockingly enough, they brought on Dave Fennoy again for some more voice acting.
Dave
Most
Fennoy?
commonly known as Lee in the Walking
okay.
Dead series.
Oh, okay.
And
He was,
also, I think
who
he's
was
had
he?
at least one
Clem will
role in like
remember this.
every single Telltale game.
He was in The Wolf Among Us.
Mhm.
He was the lumberjack guy, I think. Or
No,
whatever.
he was Blackbeard or
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's right. That's right.
And oddly enough, they actually have Corey Feldman, one of the 4 stars of Stand By Me, which is the film that I was just talking about. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, lots of really well-known folks. They got Ashley Johnson, of course, from The Last of Us.
Oh, nice.
Scott Porter's in there. They got
Patton Oswalt, right?
Yeah, of course, Patton Oswalt up there. Brian Posehn, I think, is in. Oh, he's in Mission Hill. Okay, I thought he was somebody else.
I like Mission Hill. It's a great show.
Brian Posehn, also stand-up comedian and perhaps best known to casual audiences as the male guy from Just Shoot Me.
All right.
Do I need to have played Minecraft to enjoy this game?
Have you never played Minecraft?
I played a little bit of Minecraft.
Okay. It's conceivable that you could not have.
I played a series a few years ago on it where somebody wanted me to build a nether portal. So I did that and then I stopped.
My guess would be
no,
you probably do not need to have played Minecraft to play this.
I think there's two levels of it. The one is what Mathas said. The other level is, but will you appreciate it properly if you're not invested in the culture of Minecraft, which is a real thing. Yeah. And I personally don't think I am invested in the culture, but I love the game. I don't think that's going to push me enough to want to play it that much, but it's not like I'll be upset if I do play it. I just won't get as much out of it, you know?
You're only going to get one episode every 6 months anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Time.
It seems like the kind of thing that could easily, I mean, because there's just such a cult mentality to a lot of the different various facets of Minecraft and what it means to people, because there's like different sorts of Minecraft players, which is kind of made known by the fact that one of these characters is known as the Griefer, which really only applies to Minecraft, or as much as I'm aware of the term.
Sandbox games in general.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Griefers are in Sandbox for the most part. But I think people are looking for reasons not to like it, just based on the fact that this is something that is seen as unpure or unclean in the eyes of, Minecraft purists, maybe.
It'll sell millions.
Yeah, I think it's going to sell. It'll do just fine.
Nobody's
the people who are yelling about it are not the majority of the buyers. I think a lot of the people who are going to end up picking it up are going to be parents for their kids during the holidays.
It's pretty divisive. I mean, this seems like a silly measure or metric to base popular opinion on, but the trailer itself has like a 50-50 split between likes and dislikes. That's not really common for a Telltale Games announcement.
I hate to say it because we're on YouTube, but the YouTube audience is pretty reactionary about stuff that they don't like.
Yes, that is so true.
I feel like that's not necessarily
everyone, just the vocal minority.
It really isn't even the majority.
Yeah,
but it's just like there are a lot of people out there who do not like Minecraft, and there's so many reasons why. Maybe they genuinely think it's a bad game. Maybe someone they don't likes Minecraft a lot. Maybe they're mad that there's YouTubers who play Minecraft who make more money than them. Maybe they played Minecraft when they were 10 and now they're 14 and they hate that they played it when they were 10 because it's little kids.
Maybe their big brother didn't let them have access to the laptop one afternoon.
There you go.
Maybe CBS program Big Brother didn't like them play it. That's also a possibility.
Maybe they're mad that Microsoft owns it now. Maybe they're mad that Telltale, they make all these mature games, now they're going to make a kiddie game. Like, there's so many reasons.
Telltale sold out, man.
Yeah, Telltale sold out. They used to do pure stuff like The Walking Dead, Jurassic Park,
Game of Thrones.
They sold out.
Multi-billion-dollar property.
YouTube clickbait. That's what it is.
I don't think the people giving a thumbs down to this trailer, though, are the people that don't like Minecraft. I think it's the people that do like Minecraft that aren't enjoying this announcement. I think the people that enjoy the game a lot are seeing this and are not pleased.
This is not the pure Minecraft that I know, where I can
create my own story. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be similar
stories on YouTube.
It's going to be the similar story of I don't like how this looks. I'll buy it anyway, but I don't like it.
I like this voice you're pulling out
anyway. They're gonna buy it. This game is going to sell. That is not I don't think these people who are shouting about it, it's the same people who are shouting, "Stop the production of Metroid Federation Force."
That's me though.
They're still gonna buy it.
Sorry.
No, I'm with you. It looks terrible, but it's still gonna sell. People are still gonna play. People are
Metroid Federation Force, not Minecraft Story Mode. Is what he's just talking about.
They're both gonna buy it. They don't
both look terrible.
More likely
though,
to play the Minecraft Story Mode than the Metroid game. Just saying.
Right.
I think this is the argument I hate, man. This is like one of the top comments on the video. Why the hell is this game necessary? Wait, let me answer that myself. It's owned by Microsoft. They want money.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you play video? Why? Every video, I just play old video games because why would I ever buy a new product? Like, it doesn't. Why is this game necessary? Man, it looks okay, man.
I only play the Atari 2600 because there's no money to be made on that.
There was an entire genre of machinima videos created around Minecraft, but why is it when Telltale does something similar, now they're a villain?
I also want to talk to that guy in the same way I talked to the guy that was mad at Ubisoft lying to him. Microsoft only wants to make this game because they want to make money. Yeah.
Also true.
Correct. Well done.
Also, Microsoft isn't making it.
Well, I think in their defense, though, I think everyone wants there to be a certain degree of passion infused into projects, whether or not it's about money. I think that's just the minor side.
Telltale has no passion to do this.
Well, yeah, because that's where it's easy to get cynical because they go, hey, it's Minecraft, big money involved, sold out, I think is the line of thinking.
If there's money involved, there's no passion. You can't have equal.
Yeah, you can't have both.
You can't have passion
one or the other.
without Patton, and that's why they need Patton Oswalt.
It's true.
I can't say his name. Patton.
Yes.
Peter Patton. It just sounds weird coming out of my mouth. It sounds like I'm eating a marshmallow when I say his name. Patton. Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, it's a kind of cotton ball-y thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think Minecraft Story Mode, a Telltale Games game adventure
series
game series adventure is probably my front runner for game that I will go to bat to defend and then will not play. If I know myself well enough, and I think I do. It seems like one of those games where I'll be like, why are people so mad about it? It looks pretty good, and then I'll just never play it. Mm-hmm. But I think, why are people so mad?
Defending it, the concept is all, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is why it cuts both ways. Lower your hype, but also lower your cynicism. As far as I'm concerned, in an ideal world, this is how everybody feels about every game. The Division, Fallout 4, Minecraft Story Mode, maybe like EA Sports a little, but then like back up. And then
Watch Dogs way up here.
You're just pleasantly surprised and disappointed a little bit when things come out. Like if I'm invested in a game and it comes out and it gets like 2s, I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then something else comes out and it gets like 9s, and I'm like, well,
you have nothing to lose if you have low expectations.
Right.
Look at what it did for me for Enter the Gungeon. I fucking love that game now.
That's true. You should just apply that to your whole life. Like, just live at like a very muted kind of like 5 out of 10 at all times.
Or just play Rocket League. I mean, that's going
to
solve your problems too.
Before we go to Rocket League, though, I wanted to bring up something I don't know if anybody saw. I forgot to talk about before we started the podcast. Mm-hmm. Did anybody see the PT-like game that got announced?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the name of it, though.
It was only a matter of time. It's called,
Allison Road.
Allison Road. I feel like it was only a matter of time before we saw somebody show up and be like, they canceled PT. Here's PT, spiritual successor.
This is probably pretty cynical, but I'm kind of not looking forward to there being this rejuvenation of indie horror games or whatnot that are like, look, photorealistic house, so it's like PT. It's like now no longer can you have a horror game based on any premise.
It's a PT like.
PT.
Well, this is... Allison Road gets to eat shit for being the first one. And then like a year from now, it becomes a genre.
Right.
The old Sushi Castle phenomenon.
I'm excited for it. It looks interesting from the trailer, the gameplay trailer. It was like a Gone Home with a ghost. This time there's actually a ghost in Gone Home.
I just don't know why we need to talk about PT at all. It has nothing to do with that.
I see what
because
you're saying.
that's how everything marketed it immediately.
I know.
Like, well, PT. I was like, oh, all right, let me take a look at
You're
that.
leveraging a thing that doesn't exist. Don't worry about it.
It exists on what, 2,000 consoles or something like that?
I have it. Doesn't matter though.
You can eBay that.
Yeah,
PS4.
eBay your PS4 now.
$2,000 or some shit like that.
I can get $2,000 for that.
I think it was at least.
I'm not very emotionally invested in my particular hardware that I hold.
Sam, PS4 with.
Not
PT.
really do this. I'm more lazy than that.
Oh, hold on. I'm actually pretty invested in this result. A PS4
it's
with
probably
PT
gone way down. Maybe I'll hold on to it for
eBay?
6 years, and I'll be the last one that still has it without the hard drive being wiped. Then I'll bank it.
That's like going to be a $2 bill in a decade, man. That's some valuable shit.
eBay taking down auctions selling PS4s with PT.
Oh, wow.
It's just a PS4 with games included.
They were selling for a little over $2,000. Then
wow,
eBay.
That is the stupidest
That's
shit.
outrageous.
Why does eBay take it down? Like, what's the difference to them? Like, they wouldn't deal with the gray market issues when Wii's were being resold for a ton of money.
Well, there is the Confederate flag in PT. I bet that's probably why they're not allowed to be sold.
Wah, wah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That's a good transition into her story, right? I think we can
Hope
make
not.
that segue. First of our 2 games we're going to be talking about today is Her Story.
Sorry, what you mean is the first of our 2 games we're going to be talking about.
Hey, man, I watched Mathas play this, and I feel like I have a pretty thorough understanding of it. The new game from Sam Barlow, creator of Silent Hill Shattered Memories. A woman is
that game.
interviewed 7 times by the
pretty bad.
police. You search through the video database and explore hundreds of authentic clips to discover her story. Oh, see how they worked the title into the description there. That was pretty good.
Yep.
Ah, shit.
In this groundbreaking narrative game.
Let's talk about that concept.
Let's
Adam.
talk about that claim right there.
I wouldn't call it
as-
groundbreaking.
As an indie FMV detective game. The groundbreaking adventure, Her Story. MathasGames. Let's play a little bit of this. I want him to talk about it to start off with.
It's good. It depends on what you're going in expecting. It's incredibly unique in a lot of
For
ways.
your hype.
Yep. Keep it nice at a nice 5 medium.
This one's out. You can go crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. It's cheap
okay.
too. It's like $6. The idea is you're kind of going on this. When you boot up the game, it brings up this old style like computer screen, and you're basically going through this police database, searching with keywords to bring up clips of multiple interviews with this woman that have taken place over the course of like 4 or 5 months or something like that. And you're listening to these interviews, and they can be anywhere between like 6 seconds to like 45 seconds long. Listening to her, what she's saying, talking about what the disappearance of her husband, and then eventually what you learn is the murder of her husband, and then trying to figure out through what she's saying, is she lying? Is she telling the truth? Did she murder her husband? Is she just insane? Like, what's happening? And a lot of it, you really need like a notepad open or a fucking notebook and a pen, because she spews a lot of names, and you can search those names, and it'll bring up clips. And there's like over 250 different clips in the computer itself, of which some are really buried. You need very specific key phrases to bring them up. And it's just you kind of just going through these clips and writing things down and just trying to figure out what happened. Is
How do
she
you win?
lying? I think after okay, so I haven't quite figured out how to win yet, because you open up a file on the little computer, and it brings up, there's like 2 things that it can bring up. One is like, it's called like database entries, and there's like, they light up as you watch the clips, I think. And then there's a little game you can play, which I'm not sure how you play it. I don't understand it. I know you can win. I haven't figured out how yet. It's weird.
Oh, there's totally a folder inside the Steam cache libraries of your computer itself, man. Like, that's where you
know.
gotta find the real
Got it
clues.
bury. But it's interesting because it's well acted. Like, it's only one actress, just her the entire time, and she's very
Viva
convincing.
Seifert.
Is that her name?
Yeah, actress in one half of the band Joe Gideon and the Shark.
It's all right.
She's
Interesting.
a shark.
It's interesting too, because the YouTube comments I put up on the one-off, a lot of people are like, you can tell she's lying in this video because the way she's looking or the way she's drinking or whatever. So there is that element in the game where you're like, well, she keeps doing this when she mentions this. Is that indicative of her lying, or is she just doing it? It's really interesting, but it's minimalist as far as actual player input. You're not, controlling a character. It's very internal. You're trying to figure things out.
So
And
your
like,
whole input is just a console, right? You're just typing into a console.
you are on an old computer and you're typing away and you're just typing
the whole game.
keywords, and you can tag videos. So if like
Okay.
this one video has something really important, you can put a tag into it, and then you can bring it up later just to like re-watch it. And you can scrub through the videos too. It's
Okay.
neat.
So it's like a 90s minimalized FMV LA noir.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, it's about it right-ish.
It's a much smarter way to approach what they did in the Sega CD era, which was really clunky.
Yeah,
Right.
it's definitely. I mean, it's unique in what it tries to do. It's not very expensive. And if you like that style of kind of just murder mystery, I think you're gonna enjoy it.
It's got great reviews on Steam right now, too. It kind of reminds me, when you were discussing the difficulty level, it makes me think back, because we wanted to make this identification of, this is somebody trying to kind of resurrect the idea of full motion video being introduced as a gameplay element that people can still enjoy in this day and age. But the difficulty level that I guess kind of comes along for the ride with that feature reminds me of things like, just the old school computer games like Myst and Riven and The Seventh Guest, things like that just require you to really be super diligent about making
Yeah.
notes and keeping tidbits and memories that
Yep.
you won't necessarily have an inventory space for, or a journal or something like that built into the game. You have to just be you have to be cognizant of what is happening enough to be able to actually achieve victory to a degree.
Yeah, and a lot of that puzzle element in this game comes in and just looking at like the time of the interview and the date of the interview. So, well, this interview happened on the same day as the clip that I saw earlier, but this one is taking place 2 hours afterward. So same day, 2 hours later. Is there a connection to what she said earlier? Oh shit, she's wearing a different outfit in this one. Oh, this interview happened 2 months after this interview, and she seems way more shaken up in this one. And what she's saying here is contradicting what she said 2 months ago. Where is the truth?
Right. It's like we were groomed by Papers, Please for a game like this.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's kind. I like it a lot. It's kind of awesome. But I can see people who would fucking hate it.
Is it groundbreaking?
Is it groundbreaking?
I would not say it's groundbreaking.
Okay.
Is it not though? Like,
I don't know what it like. I guess
What does groundbreaking mean? I always
how
just
do you
associate
define-
that with this is a new thing that we haven't seen
it's
yet.
fair, but I admittedly have not played it. But it doesn't seem like just because it has FMVs, it's like an FMV game. Like, it doesn't seem like it's just a choose your own adventure. Like, you watch a video and then you go, oh, I want to do this action, or I want to do this action, and then it plays another video afterwards. There's actually, like, most of the gameplay takes place
In the console.
like, in your head.
In your head.
Yeah, like, it's not just like Dragon's Lair or something.
Yeah.
Which I consistently go back to as not a good game.
It's a really
I was
bad
gonna
game.
say it's like one that you go back to every year. Like, oh, I gotta play Dragon's Lair again.
It
It's
had
Christmas
lovely
time.
art, but I think it gets a pass just because of the art. Sorry.
I don't like Dragon's Lair.
Okay.
There's I'm not disparaging this guy at all, but there's like some guy who runs like a Dragon's Lair revival page or like a fan page or something like that, and every once in a while he'll tweet me and be like, yo, dude, Dragon's Lair's not that bad. And I'm like, I don't know, man, I kind of think it is. He's like, I really like it. I'm like, you can, that's fine. But
I think this is the best, Steam positive review for Her Story. It's got 1,041 people that thought it was a great review. It's one sentence.
oh, here we go.
This is better than Arkham Knight.
Oh, fucking hell.
Her Story, better than Arkham Knight. $6.
That's games criticism now. Is like, what? How do you feel about Her Story? Well, it came out the same day as Arkham Knight, and Arkham Knight had a broken PC port, so I think it's pretty good.
Says nothing about anything.
Let me tell you all about Her Story. It stars Bruce Wayne as Batman going down through the streets of Gotham in a Batmobile. He's not killing anybody, though. He's just knocking them unconscious.
Teasing them.
And you got to figure out if you really kill them or not. And there's some full motion video in there, too.
You honestly, you sold me. I was intending to play it, which is why I brought it up in the Skype call. But I think maybe I'll make some time for it this weekend. It looks pretty cool.
Glad to hear it. It's really fun.
$6, available now on Steam. We all really like Rocket League.
It's the best game of the year so far.
All right, we've covered that topic.
Comes out today, the day we're recording this, so available now on Steam, $20 US. Soccer meets driving once again in the long-awaited physics-based, multiplayer-focused, there's a lot of hyphenated phrases in that sentence, sequel to supersonic acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars. Choose a variety of high-flying vehicles. God, there's hyphens everywhere in here.
They have
There
a
are too
much
many
better
hyphens.
title. Much
Yeah.
better title than the last one they made.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Rocket League destroys fucking supersonic battle
Acrobatic
cars.
rocket-powered battle cars. I can't even say that. Supersonic acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars.
Funky
There we
fresh,
go.
yeah.
I got it.
Nearly impossible to say.
Pulled off incredible game-changing saves. This game is terrific. If you haven't seen it, we have about 12 videos apiece that I'm sure you'll see through the course of the next couple of weeks or so. It's
killed my sleep schedule.
It's just so much damn fun. That's all I can say about it. I've had way more fun playing Rocket League this past week or so than I have playing a game all year.
It's everything I dreamed goofball goals could be.
That's a great way of putting it, actually. That's really accurate.
So Rocket League, what I like about it is that when you first start playing, it's like goofball goals, where it's like, I don't know how to hit a soccer ball with a car. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you just run into one another. But we have reached this point now where we have like real teamwork and strategy. Like it has like a medium skill floor to figure out adequacy. The skill ceiling is it's undefined right now.
You're just flying around dunking at
We
that
thought
point.
we had an idea of what the skill ceiling was. We haven't a fucking clue.
We have gone from like, okay, this is going to sound a little bit like bravado, but I was dominating in a lot of the games, and the only reason was because I was the only one who could consistently hit the ball. So like
Right.
the ball would be coming, and I was like, I know the timing for this because I played the most. Now when we play online, we have like, we're communicating all the time. We have like dedicated defense. And we don't have like set plays or anything like that, but we've got flying meta sorted down. Like we
Set
can hit
plays
it
will
out
come.
of the sky.
I
I
see it.
believe so. And we're like
Well, we-
consistently scoring.
I don't say we have some we set plays. We'll call center way before we're gonna center it, so people
That's
are
true.
prepped for a center hit.
It's a real sports game. It's not just like, I hope people don't look at it and think that it's like Surgeon Simulator with soccer.
Oh,
No,
not
it's
at all.
not.
Yeah.
Like even if you just like look at it like that, I think you're incorrect. It is
Murder
like
meta.
a real sport in a digital form. It works really well. I think I have like probably 30 hours in it now in a week, and we'll probably put in like another 30 this week. Especially because every game we've been playing online, we've either shit on people like 12-0 or we've lost like a close game against really good people and learned a lot. Like I really feel like we're learning like crazy. I can't
Well, the
recommend
really
this
good
enough.
people suddenly like introduced us to flying meta isn't complete shit.
Right.
Like it's useful for some ball control.
You gotta work
Oh,
on it, though.
absolutely. We scored some. Me, Bear, and Rob played after you went to bed. We got
Nice.
some flying goals.
Oh, I was up. I was just rendering videos, man.
Saved the replay.
I think my favorite part about Rocket League right now is that I can see myself watching this as an esport. I want
doubt.
people to get incredibly good at this. I want to maybe be one of the people that gets incredibly good at this, and I want to watch 3-on-3 esports matches. I want to watch Cloud9 versus Evil Genius's Rocket League teams, man. That could
Absolutely.
happen. I'm not even being facetious. That's real.
I would do it. Like I was telling Ryan last night, like as I was editing my videos and editing Rocket League last night, I was watching the Rocket League game he played. I was like, this is so good.
It's so
It's
entertaining.
pretty wild. It'll pull you just right back in, even though you were in the video,
Yeah,
Yep.
watching back
Oh,
your
yeah.
own.
exactly.
So I will say there's a couple of things I'd like. Not that I necessarily think that Rocket League is bad in these regards, but a couple of things I would like to see better. Season mode, I would like it if it was a little bit more, not just like a scheduled set of like 27 matches or whatever. It'd be cool if there was like stat tracking, end of season trophies and stuff like that. I realize it's kind of hard to do like stat tracking in a game like this where there's no dedicated positions. So you can't be like, oh, what's your save percentage as a goalie? Well, I don't know. I save it
Whenever you're
occasionally.
in, you could be in a tagged zone, and whenever you're in that zone, it counts you as a goalie, and then it stat tracks from there.
I guess so. And then like shots that come in would count as shots against you, and your save percentage is saves versus those shots. But like awards and stuff like that, an all-star game or something like that. I also feel like it could use some more mini games. Like it seems like a game that's like rife with potential for mini games. It has training and stuff like that, which is cool. But I would love it if there was like a penalty shootout mode, like a 1v1 penalty shootout would be hilarious to me. And I don't know. I mean, it's already
Even
kind
some trials style weird stuff too. Just kind of dick around
Flying
with
through the
physics
hoops
engine.
seems like a pretty obvious one.
flying through the hoops. That would be good training too,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
And I really don't see, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but I really don't see much of a reason to play against bots anymore. Like in beta or before the game came out, it was the only way to play if nobody else was online. But now I'm like, the community is so large online. There's not really much reason for me to play against bots.
Yeah.
I would
glad
like to
they
play
have
against
bots.
bots.
Event that you don't have someone to play against.
But I love like franchise modes and stuff like that in sports games. I would like to have that option in Rocket League, but I understand that it's more of like a multiplayer focused thing, which is fine because there's like 3,000 people online on PC right now, and it's free on PS4 even though the servers are down.
I don't disagree with you about additions to the league play that I would like to see, like the tracking of your stats and all that kind of stuff. That would be nice. But I am still really enjoying. I'm actually doing just like a little series on YouTube of my playing through the season on Rocket League. And I'm kind of just creating, my own storyline of like I picked my two teammates and we're cruising through the season standings and trying to win the
Did you get
championship.
C-Block?
No, dude, I got Wolfgang and I got Hollywood.
Oh, that's pretty
Hollywood's
good.
not bad,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hollywood's come up
know
with
the
some
bots
clutch
by now.
saves, man. They're doing
Hollywood's
well.
he's a front runner for the Selkie this year.
But I've made this comparison to you guys a couple of times, but I really like it, and I relate it to the experiences I had playing an Armored Core game when I was a younger teenager, and you just progress through the ladder and you play all these AI opponents, and I don't think this is actually the case with Rocket League, but I want to believe that in Rocket League, like there's a certain parameter established where if you're kicking the computer's ass every game, then they kind of step it up a little bit, and like there's different play styles associated with different names of characters and stuff like that. So it's got its own little cute appeal, is really all I want to say about it. Yeah, you probably want to just play this up against other people online, but at the same time, there's this neat little side thing with the league where you can go in with your computer teammates and try to win the championship through the course of a few weeks. So
Yeah.
I like that well enough too.
Couple of things that I'd love to see is like a slider for the bots, so you can practice on a team that's more defensive heavy versus offensive heavy would be great. If they could make mutators, so you could have like a bigger ball, a smaller ball, a ball that's on fire.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Every time you hit the ball, it hits it harder or something like that, like Lethal League. I could see that being a ton of fun as well. And, various little weapon game modes or stuff like that, if they really wanted to go down that path. And I'm fine with it the way it is. I'm just saying if they want to go further, that would be fun too.
I like that they do have pretty extensive training available through the game as well.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You can train for the goalie position. They'll fire a bunch of shots at you from different directions, and you can try to prepare yourself. And it gets to be pretty goddamn difficult, actually. So you learn about all the different stuff that you can actually do that you're not really even acutely aware of when you first start playing in the first few hours even. They have aerial training, they got striker training, then they've just got the basic and advanced tutorials, of course, as well. And even through all those training sessions, you can master the all-star difficulty of that training, but still have plenty more to learn, which is what we're talking about as far as the skill ceiling goes.
Also, I am of two minds about this. I really like that everybody's on an even playing field. None of the cars have different stats, functionally similar hitboxes. But I do think it'd be cool if there was a way to just slightly alter the stats. Like certain toppers did certain things, almost like Magical Wizard Wars, almost, to tie together my two niche game fetishes, I guess. I would be sweet, I think, if you could actually spec your car. If you went like all the way as far extreme as you can get, maybe you get like 10% larger, 10% lower speed or something like that.
Maybe like the
It'd just be
token
an
system
alternate game mode.
Like the token system in Brawlhalla, perhaps.
Yes.
Where they give you like those slight little adjustments, like you have to sacrifice one stat for another.
Right. Like I don't really want it to be to the point where you could make your car incredibly tiny but also super fast or something like that. Like that would get a little absurd. But just the ability to tinker it, within like 25% or something like that, or 10%, I think would help to be like, I'm a dedicated shooter or striker, I'm a dedicated goalie. Like I think that would help a little bit. But I do like at the same time that everybody's on an even playing field, which means that it's like 100% skill based all the time. You can never have the excuse of like, oh, they have their car spec'd in a bullshit way. Come on, Psionics.
Are they paid to unlock the top hat that gives you 10% extra boost?
Right.
That would be a great way to differentiate the bots, actually, if just they had access to slight stat modification.
Yeah, that's true.
You'd kind of get to learn who they are through their actions in a weird way.
I can't wait until I reach the end of my season and I end up in the playoffs against like the Monstars equivalent of the Rocket League teams.
Right.
They're all like 50 feet tall.
That's the other thing, is that it would be really cool if there was like almost like a stat progression or an RPG style system in the season mode, like the way that Frozen End Zone works, and they're totally different games, but is that you earn money from your matches and then you can buy statistically better robots basically to be on your team. I understand the game doesn't work like that, but because it lacks that in its season mode, I'm like, why would I play this instead of online?
Right.
Yeah,
Which is fine.
more online.
Yeah, and the online is great. It might seem like I've been negative, but it's only because we've said so much positive about it. It really is probably my #1 game of the year candidate now. And I had to go through like a little soul searching. I was like, this isn't like a big budget AAA game or an indie roguelite. Like, can I make this my game of the year? I was like, I'm having the most fun playing this than I've had playing anything else this year.
It's very responsive. The controls feel great. We've never had like big latency issues as far as I'm aware. I've never dropped a game. Right? This is all very smooth, very polished, and the UI is great. You can join in a party together, which is a thing that not everybody does right. It worked the first time the way we wanted it to. Like, I have
Yeah,
no
it just
complaints.
works.
It's really polished.
And it's super addicting, and getting a goal is a shot of adrenaline every time.
It wasn't even an early access. It was just good out of the
Yep.
gate. It's
How would you guys
impressive.
feel about asymmetrical or just bizarrely shaped maps?
I think I'd be partial to the arena style stuff.
Well, just as like an alternative that you could dick around in for fun.
Maybe. If I could see myself like playing for fun sometimes, like a fun house map that just has wacky mirrors and fucking.
Oh yeah, there could be like
clowns smacking the
a
ball.
hitter thing in the center that hits the ball around,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
mixes it up.
That could be cool. In a weird way, like I'm kind of like on the Dota perspective on this one, where people are like,
Purity.
well, yeah, like I know you have expressed this opinion, Josh has expressed it as well. And they're like, well, Dota only has one map, doesn't that get boring? And I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I
Basketball-
do. It's just a joke, honestly, at this point.
Basketball courts are a court, and
No, yeah, but like they have Dota custom
size.
maps now, and there's custom games, and there's all sorts of weird, fun side things you can do with it. So I figured, hey, it could be fun here too.
That's true, and that's where I just don't get that. I'm like, I'm gonna play Dota.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, well, I'll play Dota.
No, it's a
How we came to that
hypothetical.
conclusion.
No, I know.
Yeah, I can't slip into two addictions at the same time.
Right. Also, cross-platform gameplay, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's
PS4
pretty
can play with
crazy.
PC. So we were actually doing that last night. We found out that we were only playing against PS4 people.
We were?
Yeah,
Oh.
the whole time, just PS4.
I didn't know that. How did you know that?
Oh no, sorry, that was actually the other day. No, that was earlier yesterday. But
All the days blur together when you play
I
this
don't know,
with
fuck
Rocket
it.
League.
That's not true at all. Never mind. But we were playing against some PS4 people because they did mention it in the chat, so that
okay.
was a fact. Yeah, it's truly fantastic and just so much fun. So highly recommended, I think, across the board. $20 on Steam, available now. Assuming no horrible things happen in the next few days, it works perfectly online, and I love it.
I'm addicted to unlocking new things too, because you get one like every game you play. You're like, oh my god, another
right.
paint job. Oh my god, more tires. It
I
just
can't
keeps
believe
coming.
there's still more shit to unlock.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And then you get
yeah.
each car, and then they each have their own paint styles. So like you could be unlocking stuff for months potentially.
Absolutely.
What kind of DLC do you guys want to see? Because this is a game where already I'm like, I'm all in.
All the hats you could get, every
I'll
damn
buy
hat.
everything.
So many
Weird
hats.
I want a full-on money car so you can live out your fantasy.
Oh,
Dash
dude.
cab.
A money paint job, like a $sign paint job,
No,
is exactly
the whole thing
what
is
I need.
crusted in gold dust. They can do it.
Oh, that's real good. Rocket League's out. Buy it. Buy it with your money. And that is it for our topics of conversation today. Before we get into Nick's Weird Games as well, I do want to mention we have a new segment that we're going to be unearthing. It's not anything entirely groundbreaking, as her story
Brian
might
reads
be. But
Steam reviews.
right. No, simply going along with the bad names for things that we so frequently enjoy. It's called Ask Roundtable. I'm going to throw up a little picture here if I remember to do so. But Ask Roundtable is going to be a new segment, and we'll have a new little slate for it as well. You guys can either send in messages on Patreon or simply email Roundtable. I'm going to make sure this is actually the right one because they have 3 fucking different ones. Whoever set that up is an idiot. RoundtableYT@gmail.com is where you want to send in your questions, and we will absolutely read through them all, and we will choose one to read and discuss on the show. So preferably, of course, open-ended questions, things that open up topics of conversation that you may have wanted to hear us go on at length about before. But that is going to be happening in the next episode of the show. So hype for that. Also, patreon.com/roundtable has been completely revamped, and you'll see the results of that at the end of today's show as well. But if you want to check that out, all new reward tiers and potentially a new milestone goal as well at the $2,000 level, which we are closing in on. So that's pretty fantastic. But for now, it's time for Nick's Weird Games. And Mathis, what do you want to hear today?
Oh shit! I didn't even think ahead of time.
Queen.
I know, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Queen, yeah.
Can't be done.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I know you got a
Can't do Queen?
Freddie Mercury inside. You just
There's I
waiting to
actually
burst
went
out.
on a tangent, which is probably in the episode Nick watched recently in Isaac. That was like, you can't sing Queen at karaoke because you just ruin it. Like, there's no impression to do if you can't get a high note.
What about in the tune of like Back in Black, AC/DC?
I hate this segment
Da-na-na.
so much. All right.
You
Enjoy.
can totally do Back in Black.
Here we go. No, it's not going to be Back in Black. It's going to be TNT.
Okay.
AC/DC either way.
Because it's Nick's Weird Games. Oi! 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 Nick's Weird Games. They're kind of weird. Nick's Weird Games. They're pretty strange. Nick's Weird Games. Nothing rhymes with those words. Nick's Weird Games. Probably a horror adventure game from the PS2 era, released in around 2004 by a Japanese company that has since gone out of business.
Sound like I missed a good one. You know, it really sucks for me. I never get to hear these things unless I watch the whole episode later.
Keep the headset on.
Nick's Weird Games brought to you by Sony Records, proud sewers of the Roundtable podcast for this terrible impersonation. Nick, what do you got?
All right, so we've got a game today that is for PS2, and it is... I don't know if I should say
Is
this.
it a Japanese company that is in or out of business?
It could be either one, really.
All right, well, it was published by Atlas.
Oh, come on!
I don't know if that
Atlas
tells you
again.
anything. I'm not going to tell you the developer yet until I read a thing off the back here, because
Okay.
that
4.
might give it away quickly. So I have a feeling one of you will know this. It's not as obscure as mostly all the other ones. All right, lands of snow, emerald forests, and chasms of fire beckon you. Play 5 magnificently hand-rendered characters in the enchanted fairy realm of Irion, filled with mythical beasts and gargantuan monsters, a masterwork, a feast for the senses, the kind of visual experience that every gamer dreams possible but rarely plays.
That is a hell of
That's
a box.
actually what's written on the back
That's
of the
amazing. Yeah, I missed back-of-the-box descriptions, man.
So there's a pull quote here, actually, from Play Magazine, who gave it a 10 out of 10. This is also on the back of the box.
Holy shit.
A heretofore unseen level of detail and animation. The action and systems are masterfully executed. This is a perfect game.
Okami.
Whoa! Wow.
So we've set up a pretty high bar here.
I don't think
Do you have
Okami
any
was
guesses
published.
so far?
Okami was published by Capcom.
Yeah, I wasn't serious.
I'll give you a year if you need it.
Sure.
2007.
Recent.
5 characters? 5
Yeah,
hand-rendered
5
characters.
magnificently hand-rendered characters.
What does hand-rendered mean? Does it mean you
That
push the
actually
render
is
button on
a-
your computer?
No, it's a big giveaway, actually.
Oh, like modeling. Ooh.
It's a 2D game, if that helps as well.
Paper Mario.
Yeah, I was gonna say Paper Mario.
Paper Mario on the PlayStation 2 in 2007. It happened.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Absolutely.
Just seeing Sony E3
Published by
conference.
Atlas. Anything's possible when you're published by Atlas, man.
True.
So, I think
Grand orchestral scores by acclaimed composer Hiroshi Sakamoto.
Oh, okay. That explains it. I'm a huge Sakamoto-san fan.
Every now and then you know some like random fact about a thing, so I
Yeah.
figured
We call ourselves Sakamotites. Let me check my discography. It's an empty wall.
this is rated T for T. It is T for fantasy,
Rated T
violence,
for T.
suggestive
That doesn't
themes,
count as a hint.
mild language and use of alcohol. It has breathtaking art, sprites that almost breathe off the screen, and monsters that span well beyond it.
Whatever this game is, I want to play it now.
10 out of 10 from
It's
Play
a
Magazine.
perfect game.
It's a perfect game.
There was actually, they split the quote up, so it went ... then ... This is a perfect game, so
Oh, they were talking about a different game.
they could have been talking about
That's
any
what
game,
that
I guess.
always means.
That's a little dishonest.
All right,
don't
I
think.
give up.
All right, this is Odin Sphere.
Oh, you know what? Kate would have known that.
Yep.
I've heard of Odin
I'm
Sphere,
actually a little
but-
surprised that none of you have played this, because
I've
it
never
got quite a
heard
bit
of
of traction
Odin Sphere.
for a while. People cared about this one. It's
We
a
needed to
weird
declare like
game.
a 6-month moratorium on Atlas games for the PS2.
All right, that'll be the last one for a while. Then.
All right.
That's fine.
Odin Sphere. Yeah,
Odin
I've
Sphere.
heard of it. I never played it.
I did play a bit of it. I thought it was very, very pretty, as all Vanillaware games tend to be. But it was kind of deep in a way that was more work to figure out than I wanted to put in at the time. So maybe it's a thing I can revisit, and maybe it is more penetrable now.
Ah, it's the Dragon's Crown people. I get it.
I get like
That's
a
why,
Dark
yeah.
Cloud vibe from that.
I can see that. I don't know if I would call it a perfect game, but it's certainly very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a ... perfect game.
Yeah,
dot.
I know. Well, that is the qualifier, isn't
Oh,
it?
was
people
very well
really like to draw Velvet.
How do you draw Velvet?
Yeah.
Character?
Oh, yeah, they really like to draw Velvet.
Oh, I thought you meant the texture of Velvet.
Oh, that too, probably.
It's very difficult to draw, I'm sure.
All right, well, now that I'm done looking at pictures of Velvet on the internet.
There you go.
That'll do it, I believe, for this episode of the Roundtable podcast. And we have changed things up a little bit as far as the shout-outs go at the end of the video.
The game ain't the same.
I know, yeah, this is a whole new podcast.
Do we want to go through all? Do you want me to go through all the changes of the Patreon? For those who
go for it.
Not? All right, let me pop it open. So this is my brainchild here. So we changed up a lot for a lot of reasons. Reading out a billion names at the end was
universally.
long,
I think people just didn't really enjoy that.
People weren't listening to it, I'm sure. So here's how it goes now. So $5 tier will now get you your name in like a credit slate. We're gonna put at the end of every episode. $10 is now what you'll get the podcast a day earlier, so that's cheaper than it was prior. $20 will be a shout out, so it's a little bit more kind of exclusive and special, and won't take us as long to get through the names. $40 tier is a bi-monthly thank you video instead of a monthly, so it'll be every other month. $50 is a new tier. This will allow you to choose one gaming-related topic once a month for us to cover on the podcast, and we will cover said topic. And then the $75 tier will allow you to game with us once a month, which we assume will probably be during one of the streams.
Possibly. Yeah,
I think it'd be easier to do it that way.
Yeah.
But it'll be the monthly gaming session instead of the choose a phrase of your choice. That way we don't shove it in at the end of the episode and be like, oh shit, we forgot. And that's it.
And we apologize if this is not to your liking. This is, again, just very much a work in progress. None of us are very familiar with crowdfunding of any sort, so we're learning.
This is why you should never trust us until the podcast actually comes out.
Right.
We just presented a vertical slice.
We're still in early access. We're only 12 episodes in. It's not like we solidified anything, obviously. So, but we do want to get into the shout-outs for the end of the episode today. We want to thank Max Pillin, Garrett Stewart at Grizzlies Review, Christopher Flagg, General Crunk, Alexander Spillman, Jonathan Graham, Jeff Rush, Air Force Balls, David Bradley, Matt, Julian Abelsgard, Hired Help, Caspian Crawdad, Kevin Birkland, Casey, Matthew Monahan, Zur, Kevin Reckerman Walker, Connor Littlewood, Rumble Muffin, Maximilian Messerschmidt, Samurfet, Logan Ray, and Justin. Still a pretty big list there, so thank you guys very much for the insanely amazing support. And I've got EP Diablo on here at the $50 level, and I feel like I owe him a shout-out for that too, so thank you, EP Diablo, as well. That is it for this episode of the Roundtable Podcast. If you want to follow us on Twitter, that is at RoundtablePC. You'll get notifications. And I know we've been terrible about the Twitch broadcast lately. It's been I've been moving to a different state, and then a couple of these guys have been flying around and out of the country for other reasons. So hopefully we should be able to get together, although Mathas is going to be in Georgia.
Nope, I'll be home. I'll be home on Tuesday.
Wonderful. Okay, so we should be able to do it on Tuesday. So there's good news there. And that'll be the 14th of July. So twitch.tv/Roundtable Podcast is what you want to follow if you're interested in seeing our Twitch streams of the Roundtable crew. Also, our subreddit is roundtablepodcast at reddit.com. And you can submit feedback for the Patreon there as well if you feel so inclined. And we'll totally read it. Also, rate the show 5 stars on iTunes if this is your listening platform of choice. And that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Or listening.
Thanks, everybody.
Later.
Woo, bye. We're going to go play Rocket League.
Yep, absolutely. This podcast is entirely listener supported. To consider making any sort of contribution, large or small, visit patreon.com/roundtable.